YTPC. Padre Piper coming to you via the virtual airwaves of YouTube saying, well, hey there, YouTube Pipe community. How the heck are you doing? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I don't know, just get right to the house cleaning here. I'm smoking, this is a no-name basket pipe. It's a bent apple, rather large bowl. It's really good for smoking English blends. At least I find that it is. That's why I'm smoking an aromatic in it. No, I'm kidding. I am enjoying an English blend today. I am enjoying something blended by Old Russ for Hearth and Home Signature Series. It's called Larry's Blend. Larry, I don't know who you are, but you've got a good palate. At least I'm assuming you do, because I kind of like this. I like this blend a lot. I really do. It's full-bodied flavor. It doesn't have an extremely high nick hit to it. Of course, when you're using, a big bowl like this and you're gonna enjoy this for a little while, you could get some of the effects of lady nick if you're not careful. What I really like about this is the flavor is just it's fairly intense. It's strong flavor. It's bold. And it doesn't. I got a bug on me. It doesn't get harsh. It does not bite. Yummy stuff. Gorgeous day. Gorgeous day. And I'm pairing that, speaking of bold, with some dark black coffee, which seems to go well with everything. What's going on in your world? And I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in my world. We're on day 898 of lockdown and pandemic. No, I have no idea what day it is. I mean, I know it's Monday. I thought I'd take to the virtual airwaves to have a little lunchtime chat with you. Not intending to keep it too long, but one never knows. Because sometimes I set out to do a 6-minute video and it becomes a 60-minute video. And I hope you don't mind. What am I doing? I'm just trying to make it in this crazy world that we're living in. I'm trying to adjust. I know you are too. Parts of the country are beginning to reopen. I hope that's the right thing. People are fighting, arguing about opening, and I see both sides of it. I don't know who's right. Time will tell. What I don't think, one of the things I don't like seeing when people are fighting are people who take a very sort of a closed-minded approach to what is the right way. I don't think there is a singular right way in this case. I think it's very locationally driven. So what's happening in one city in one part of the country may be very different than what's happening in a different part of the country in another city which is bigger or smaller or has different resources. And so I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer to the coming back online from this pandemic. And I think the people who are trying to force the round pegs into the square holes and vice versa, I think that's causing some of the argument. They may not have an appreciation for what's happening in somebody else's neck of the woods. So, I don't know. Having said all that, here where I'm in Louisiana, we're waiting to hear today from the governor, who's supposed to let us know whether or not the May 15th stay-at-home deadline order gets extended, or whether it gets lifted, or if there's some in between, some via media, a middle pathway on that. Who knows what's going to happen? Time will tell. It's just one of those things. So, you know, I've said it before in my videos, one of the challenges for me has been, you know, how do I do this thing that I do and do it virtually on the airwaves? And I've had a lot of fun learning how to do that, actually. So, you know, I've learned to use new software and live stream services and do midday prayer services and stream morning prayer services and stream Holy Eucharist on Sundays and do devotionals during the week. And yeah, I mean, I know I do that here, right? I talk into the phone, but doing it for church is a little different. There goes a fire truck, and I hear another one coming. You know, it could be the room note. It could be the room note from this Larry's blend. But anyway, you know, doing this is really different than a church service, a full church service, where, you know, you're in the sanctuary and there's a lector over here and I'm over here and the musicians over here, and, you know, it's just different. It's a whole different beast, and requires greater expenses, requires more equipment, etc. But having said that, that's been a challenge and one I've enjoyed. And I think, like most churches who have moved to this streaming during this time, for the first time doing it, I suspect they're going to stick with it because they know it's reaching people. And that's wonderful. It's reaching people who, let's say, you know, it's a regular at your church, but for some reason they can't come that weekend. They're sick. They have a sick kid or whatever. They can still, you know, not miss church in that way. So it's got its pluses. It definitely has its pluses. I think most clergy worry that people get used to it and say, well, that's just the way I want to do church. I don't like that. I don't think that's good. Particularly, you know, from where I come from, the kind of church I'm in, a sacramental church, you can't do the sacraments virtually. So, you know. But, you know, we're kind of, I think a lot of us are building this ship as we're sailing it. And that's exciting and fun and frustrating all at once. And there it is. I don't know. You would think that, and maybe for some of you, I really want to hear this. You can leave a comment about this. How many folks, because of the stay at home, work at home, etc., have had opportunity to enjoy the hobby more, you know, to be able to smoke a pipe more frequently than, say, 2 months ago? That has not been the case for me. I kind of wish it were, but it just seems like it's not been the case. I've just been busy in a different kind of way. I can't make hospital visits. I can't go to nursing homes. So that part of my schedule is pulled back, but then I'm doing these other things trying to keep up with people. Lots more email. Lots more meetings, and these meetings are with, you know, folks in a larger audience. The diocese has more meetings, and we're doing those on Zoom, and so there's a lot more of that kind of stuff happening. A lot more phone calls, just checking up on people that way. People you wouldn't normally check up on because you'd see them every week, right? So it's trading out sort of time, an old way of spending your time versus a new way of spending your time, and then, you know, making sure that, for me anyway, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, physically, mentally, spiritually, all those different kinds of ways that you have to be able to take care of yourself. It's that old saying, right? That if you're in the business of taking care of somebody else, and frankly, I don't care what your business is, in some ways, everybody's business is taking care of somebody else. You might sell cars, and so your business is taking care of your customer, right? You may be a seamstress, and you have the business of taking care of somebody else. That person you're sewing that dress for, you're taking care of them. You want them to look good, right? So, but in this kind of vocation, it's really important to take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of you, you're not able to take care of others. And it's that little, I was going there, it was that little cliche, bells. I'm going to get to the cliche in a moment. I just don't want to be overpowered by the bells. I hope you don't mind. There it is, 11 bells. So it's a little pre-lunch, but I hope to have this up over lunch when I set a lunchtime chat with you. I guess some people eat lunch at 11. But anyway, it's that cliche, but you got, that you take care of yourself so you can take care of others. The example that's always used with the helping professions is that just like on an airplane, right? What is the flight attendant going to tell you as part of that spiel before takeoff? In the event of an emergency, or the pressure in the cabin changes, or, the wing falls off, whatever, right? If you're still alive at that point, no. There's an oxygen mask that's going to drop, okay? You put they always say you put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help somebody. And the reason for that is, if you're trying to help the person next to you because they're elderly, they're younger, they're frail, whatever, you're not getting oxygen. And you pass out as a result of your attempt to help them. Now you're out and you're not able to help them or anybody else. So it's not a selfish thing. It's a smart thing. You got to take care of yourself first, so that you're in a position to be able to take care of others. And so, that's one of the things I've been trying to bear in mind during this time as I learn how to do things differently, learn how to spend my time differently, is to make sure that I'm watching out for me. And again, not in a selfish way, but in a way that I'm best prepared to be able to continue to help others and to minister. So, I was going to give you a little scripture to go along with that. This has been on my heart today. I found this verse from the psalmist in Psalm 119, verse 37. I'm going to read it to you in the NIV. It says, "Turn my eyes away from worthless things. Preserve my life according to your word." Different ways of saying it. King James says, "Turn away mine eyes from beholding vanity, and quicken thou me in thy way." The Good News Translation: "Keep me from paying attention to what is worthless. Be good to me as you have promised." So, that's kind of a prayer intention of mine right now, is don't let me get distracted by the stuff that is not all that important, right? Help me stay focused, because that's the other thing in these kinds of situations where your structure is shifted or maybe is even crumbled, and it's real easy when you lose that structure, to find yourself just kind of adrift and going nowhere. I noticed it really early on when, you know, it was like a really strict kind of stay at home. And so I was staying home, and I was kind of like maybe even sleeping a little later than normal, and maybe not taking a shower till later in the day. And I found that did not work well for me. It just totally threw me off, and I got myself back into my regular routine. Even if I didn't need to be at the office at 8 a.m., I still got myself up at the regular time, got myself dressed as if I were leaving for the office to be there for 8 a.m., and then I found I had a much more productive day. And even if I was going to be at home and I wasn't going to be in contact with anybody, I wore my habit. I put my clerical on, because at some level it sent a message to me that this is my work clothes and I need to be prepared to work. And, you know, a lot of times we'd be doing Zoom with the clergy or the bishop, and you gotta kind of look right anyway. Although, I think I said this in a previous video, I saw the de-evolution of this whole thing with clergy. Like everybody early on, you know, with the bishop, we're getting on Zoom and everybody's looking good and the hair's perfect and, you know, starched shirts, and then all of a sudden guys stop shaving. I know I've stopped shaving. Sir James, it's gonna be going away. Just give me some time. I'm gonna shave again. I haven't been able to get a haircut. But, you know, so guys were looking a little crummy, and all of a sudden the videos for Zoom stopped, and people just had like their profile pictures up there. And at one point the bishop even said, because he was, you know, he was like one of the out of 40 people on this clergy Zoom meeting, he's like, I'm the only one with video going on. He says, gentlemen, are you showing up for these meetings in your skivvies? I just want to know what's going on. It was his way of kind of fussing at us a little bit, but it was a good message, you know, like, you do, routines serve a really good purpose in our lives. Ritual can be one of those things that can cripple us if we let it become sort of like a God, a little g God for us. But ritual can also be very, very helpful. Ritual gets us through. Routines help us to know what to do next, even when we feel like we don't know what's going on. So that's the long or the short of it for me. I have found that I get myself up just like I would be going in, and now I've actually been coming into the office a lot more anyway. There's nobody else here. My secretary comes by once in a blue moon. We communicate, and she can do a lot of her work at home, and so, you know, that's fine. But I don't like wearing the mask. I think Stephanie, piping artist Steph, you sent over some masks, and I have used them, and I used them appropriately. I know in that video I made, it was upside down, and you said it was one of the feminine masks, so I washed it and gave it to a lady here at church. But we put them to good use. I don't like wearing them. I find them uncomfortable. I don't feel like I breathe well in them. So if I have to go out to the store or something, I'll put it on. If I have to, when we are streaming Sunday morning services, there's really only, I think there's 5 of us at most. So there's me, there's a lector. The closest me and my lector are is when we're coming down the aisle to start the service, or, you know, after the final blessing, going down the aisle to leave, and you know, at the end of Mass. And so we're really not that close. We sit on opposite sides on the altar and everything. My musician's way over here. My sexton, who's also my tech guy, is in the media booth kind of running operations, and there's usually one other parish council member who's present, and they got the sanctuary to themselves basically. So we're fairly well distanced and not wearing masks then. Yeah, maybe if there's any avoidance on my part, it's been the avoidance of going around people where I have to put a mask on. I just don't like it. Let me tell you this though, Stephanie makes a great mask. I'll put her her YouTube down in the cellar, and you can track her that way if you need masks. She makes them and sells them. She does a very good job on this. You would be helping her out if she's not too busy with orders right now. Fairly priced. I'm saying that, and even though I don't know what the prices are, but she's a great gal, and I know they'll be fairly priced. And so if you need some masks, hit up Stephanie. I bet you she could take care of you. She does a great job with making them. So I am not paid to push Stephanie's masks. She doesn't sponsor the show. Just putting it out there. Somebody in our community who does make them, and she does a great job with it. So yeah, I don't know. That's what's going on with old Padre. I'm not sure I know what's going on with you. I do. That's one of the things I have found I've not had in this routine. I've not gotten back to watching as much as I would like to in the YTPC. I did get a chance to watch Over a Pipe. Martin live on Friday. Had a blast with that. He had a guy call into the show. It was his Let Her Rip Friday. And the guy's not even a pipe smoker. He just, I don't know how he found Martin's channel, but he was a trip. He was really fun to have back and forth conversation with Martin. So if you want to check that out, I'd recommend it. Martin, we got to get him to 1,000 because he wants to do a giveaway. He's this close. So if you don't know who he is and you're not a subscriber to his channel, you need to get on over there and subscribe to him because he's a great presenter. And I'll put his information down in the cellar as well. So I'm gonna finish my my black coffee, yummy. I'm gonna finish this bowl and of Larry's blend in this no-name bent apple pipe, which just does English blends so well. And hopefully I'm going to get this up in the lunchtime hour this Monday, and just to be able to say hello to everybody over in the YTPC. Mark VV and I have a new video up over on BRTV. Go ahead and check that out if you like. That's briarreport.org on the Padre Piper channel over there. Exclusive content for BRTV. And in fact, I even heard from Blue Dog, who was giving me crud for using a proper pipe lighter because Mark VV was using an improper one that looks like it had been stolen from the Acolyte closet. I got the blame from Blue Dog. That's the way it works around here. Shout out to you, Blue Dog, my friend. Always love hearing from you. Hey, folks, look, love hearing from you, too. Leave me a comment if you like. And until we're together again, this is Padre wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings, especially during this time of lockdown and pandemic. God bless you guys. Take care.